Hi guys, it is Tuesday and we are ready for the 5th chapter of Fated Love. If you'll remember, Hank and Drover are on the run from the ranch because Hank got in trouble. They tried yesterday to get a big fish, quote unquote, but it ended up being a shadow, and then Hank convinced Drover it was a monster, and he ended up, because he was face first in the mud, the quicksand. Anyway, so today Hank's he's convinced he's going to find himself a thief. So it's going to be very interesting to find out who's really in the back of this truck. So, Chapter 5, The Lovely Miss Scamper. We were in the process of moving our hunting camp downstream to shallower water when all at once we heard a car coming down the hill toward the crossing. We waited for it to pass. It didn't pass, and it wasn't a car. It was an old green Chevy pickup. It slowed down and came to a stop in the middle of the low-water crossing. This struck me as very suspicious. I mean, darkness was coming on. Why would someone stop a pickup in the middle of the crossing with darkness coming on? Hey, Drover, lie down flat in this tall grass and don't make a sound. What's the matter? Shh! Unless I'm badly mistaken, we just found ourselves a cattle rustler. Oh my gosh! I didn't know cattle could drive a pickup! What? No, you don't understand. I explained about cattle rustlers. You see, cattle rustling's one of the crimes we're hired to stop. It's part of the job. He crouched down in the grass. I thought we didn't have a job. Didn't we quit? Technically speaking, yes, but at a deeper level, Drover, a cowdog can never resign his commission. It's our job to protect the world, not just one ranch. And cattle rustlers are our sworn enemies. Are they mean? The very meanest sort of riffraff. They're hardened criminals. Extremely dangerous. Drover gulped. Hank, how far is it to the machine shed? About 3 miles. If a guy got scared out here and wanted to hide, where would he go? He'd just have to stand his ground and fight, Drover. That's the long and the short of it. Now shut your little trap and let's watch this thing develop. Memorize every detail. Man got out of the pickup and stretched. Description: medium height, slim build, age 40, dark narrow eyes, a big drooping black mustache between his nose and his upper lip. Clothing: straw hat, short sleeve western shirt with snap buttons, black boots with underslung heels, blue jeans, leather belt with Baxter on the back. There was something familiar about this guy. I'd run into him somewhere before, and I was willing to bet he had a criminal record as long as your leg. He walked a couple of steps to his right and looked over into the bed of the pickup, and then he spoke to someone. Well, how you doing there, scamp? You stay in the back. I won't be long. I nudged Drover in the ribs. Must have scared him because he squawked. Shh! You want to get us shot? No? All right, then keep quiet. I just wanted to point out our suspect is named Baxter. Well, how'd you know that? Son, after you've spent years in this business, you remember certain names and faces. That guy's a notorious outlaw. He's been around. And what worries me is he's got his gang in the back of the pickup. Drover peeked over the top of the grass. I don't see anyone. Well, silly, you think they're going to stand up and do handsprings? Course not. They're hiding back there, which is just another clue that they're up to no good. How far did you say it was to the machine shed? Shh! The notorious Baxter reached into the pickup bed and came out with what was it? A gun? A knife? I squinted and whispered to Drover, what is that thing he just pulled out? Looks like a bucket to me. Bucket? Don't be absurd. Listen, this guy's a dangerous outlaw. He wouldn't defend himself with a bucket. Oh, okay. But you know what? It was a dang bucket, which just didn't fit the usual M.O., modus of operationis. He climbed down the cement crossing, went to the creek, and filled the bucket with water. Now, what's this guy up to? Wait, I've got it. He's stealing fish. Yes, sir, he's poaching. I thought you said he was a cattle rustler. It's rustler. With his record, he's liable to do anything as long as it's against the law. Oh, well, I hope he has better luck catching fish than you did, or we'll be up all night. That's very possible, Drover, but if that's what it takes to work this case, that's what we'll do. The suspect filled his bucket, climbed back to the road, set the bucket down, opened the hood of his pickup, took the cap off the radiator, and started pouring the water. So, I will pause for a hot second. You can't answer me, but what's probably happening with water and a truck, and he's pouring it, well, what's probably happened is the truck's overheated, but Hank doesn't know cars, even though he thinks he's a genius. So here's this guy just trying to get water to cool down his truck. Drover raised up and stared. He's putting fish in his motor. I studied the evidence and sifted through all the clues. You're right, Drover. Somehow this just doesn't fit the pattern. There's something very peculiar going on here. At that moment, I saw a head appear out of the bed of the pickup. Not a human head, as you might have expected, but the head of a dog. Description, beagle. Age approximately 2 years and 3 months. Long ears, white band around a nose dotted with brown freckles. Gorgeous big brown eyes just below the lashes. Summary, the second suspect was not only a woman, but an uncommonly beautiful beagle dog who instantly raised my blood pressure and made me forget that Baxter was putting fish in his radiator. She looked in our direction and barked. It was a half bark, half bay that is common among your foxhounds, your bloodhounds, your bassets, and your beagles. She'd seen us, and I had no choice but to go up there and ask her a few questions. Drover, you stay here and, he'd seen her too. Hank, that's a woman, and gosh, she's awful cute. I'm going with you. All right, but stay behind me and don't get in the way. We came out of our hiding place and swaggered up to the pickup. Evening, ma'am. My name's Hank the Cowdog, head of ranch security. I'll need to ask you a few questions. My goodness, she said in a sultry voice. Look what's come out of the shadows. They call me Miss Scamper. And I'm Drover! Shut up, Drover. Miss Scamper, sagebrush is purple and cactus is green. You're the prettiest beagle that I've ever seen. She grinned. My, you go right to the truth of the matter, don't you? Drover couldn't keep his yap shut. Fence posts are brown and barbed wire is rusted. The first time I saw you, my heart pretty near busted. Shut up, Drover. Miss Scamper fluttered them long eyelashes. Well, you boys are just full of yourselves tonight. I gave Drover an elbow and tried to push him under the pickup. Yes, ma'am, but I should warn you about Drover. He's very mealy-mouthed and insincere, but speaking for myself, I'd have to say that the most beautiful sunset in the world's just a flashlight compared to you. You could be right about that, big boy. Did you say you had some questions to ask me? Yeah! Up popped Drover again. Will you be my girlfriend? Get lost, Drover. I kicked him out of the way. Yes, ma'am, I've got a question or two. Where do you stay? Well, now, I don't ordinarily give out that information. She gave me a wink. But to the head of ranch security, my goodness, I just about have to tell, don't I? Yes, ma'am, I'd say it's your civic duty. Yes, indeed, and I'm a very civic woman. For a moment there, I stopped breathing. Yes, ma'am, you're about as civic as any woman I've ever laid eyes on. I'm so glad you're in the security business. She fluffed her hair. Or I might be feeling, insecure. She wiggled her eyebrows. Yes, ma'am, but I can assure you that your secret will be safe with me. Your secret will be safe with me. I'll bet, she said almost in a whisper. Next ranch down the creek. Make a left at the mailbox. I'll be there most of the time. I see. Well, do you have a big fighting boyfriend? None that should bother you, big boy. I always enjoy cultivating new friends. Drover crawled between my legs. I'll be your friend. I shoved him away. Well, I can already see that this case is going to require some serious investigation, Miss Scamper. And I think what I'd better do is take a little train ride in the moonlight with you. Whatever the law requires, big boy. I sprang up into the back of that pickup and I sat down beside her. She looked me up and down. Ooh, you're quite a jumper, aren't you? I'm saving my best tricks for later, ma'am. I'll bet. Drover tried to get in but couldn't quite make it. Hank, I want to go too. Don't leave me. You stay here and scout the fish situation. I'll be back in a couple of days. I looked at Miss Scamper. Or weeks. The hood slammed. Baxter came around and set the bucket in the back. Now I remembered where I'd seen him. He'd helped Slim and Loper at the fall branding last year. Well, anyone could have mistaken Wolf, even though he was one of our neighbors on the creek. He looked very much like a cattle rustler and, oh, never mind. He glared at me and I gave him a big friendly grin as if to say, Hi there, how's it going? What do you think you're doing, Pooch? Before I could answer, he grabbed me by the scruff of the neck and one back leg and pitched me into the creek. When I came up for air, I saw the pickup pulling away, and Miss Scamper was waving goodbye. So, I don't know if you remember, but in the first chapter, he talked about his true love, Beulah. But then he sees Miss Scamper, the first dog that's a cute girl, and all of a sudden he's all, oh, I love you. So I hope you're enjoying this. This is chapter 5. There will be the next chapter is chapter 6, and it's called Unexpected Company. And anyway, I apologize for the times I was putting the book up. I'm telling you right now, the allergies are kicking my rear end, so I'm having to kind of itch my nose and go through all that. So anyway, I hope you're able to start some lessons. If you don't have your packet yet, it's coming. Work and look for more video lessons. I hope you can Zoom with me this afternoon at 1 o'clock. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.